Hello, everyone. I am Robbie LaRocca, Principal Sales Engineer with Advantive. I want to welcome you to today's webinar where we will learn how DDI system can help your business streamline pricing, ordering, and tracking your vendor deviated cost rebates. So here's a look at today's agenda. We will see how our software can help you leverage past customer sales history for future orders and quotes. We will then look at how our pricing automation within our system can help you maintain a consistent margin of last sale. Even when your cost from your vendor goes up, we can recognize that and automatically increase the customer's price to not lose margin over time. Lastly, we will get into our system and how it can track deviated cost rebates with your vendors and also generating supporting information to get paid for these rebates. From my experience, I've seen businesses leaving a lot of money on the table because the tracking of these rebates is too time consuming and or their software has no ability to track this information. So we'll talk about that, and then once we're done, we'll open it up for some Q&A, and then we will wrap up our session. Okay, so let's jump into our software and take a look at some of these features. Okay, so here is our ERP Inform software. All right, as you can see, just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at here, these are the different modules. It is a full-fledged ERP system. So you do have your accounting, your sales, your purchasing, inventory management, things like that. There are a bunch of built-in reports, analytical graphs, and dashboards to help, as temperature gauges to understand different areas of inventory and sales and purchasing, etc. But what we're going to be talking about today specifically is, and first is the sales order entry side of things and understanding, building effective reorders and how it manages your costing and pricing efficiently. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be jumping into this little green shopping cart, which is our sales order entry icon, and I'm going to be building a sales order. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our customer. So the searching in our system is pretty intuitive, pretty flexible. As far as finding your customers, I could be searching. If I search the word black, for example, the system is searching the record ID. It is searching the customer's name. It's searching the city, the phone number to help me find the records that I'm looking for. In this particular case, I am looking for Black Swan Casino, and I'm going to add them to my order. The system is checking, for things like credit hold if they're paying their bills or they're over their credit limit. In this case, this customer has not paid their bills in a while, and also that they are over their credit limit. So this order is actually going to go on credit hold, which might be helpful when you're dealing with your customers. We have different ship tos. So if this customer has multiple different locations or job locations as well, we can see those and select a different location. And we can even create different ship to locations right here on the fly. But the main point of this is we're going to build our sales order. So right from here, there are a few different ways of adding to our sales order. First and foremost, if I'm looking for example, copy paper, again, I could start typing and searching for product, and you'll notice a couple things. Again, it's searching for the description of the product and the product number of the product, but it is bringing to the top of the list products that this customer has bought before. So I know that this first item, the customer has bought this item specifically. This is the last price, this is the last quantity, and this is the month and year that they last bought it. So a lot of times, especially in this industry, customers want the same thing, the same color, whatever, the same size product. They can't quite remember what it is. It's very easy in this regard to find, products that the customers purchased before. But on top of that, instead of manually searching for these products and adding them, we do have a nifty tool, which is the first thing we're going to be talking about, is the customer order pad. So the customer order pad is going to load up all of the customer's history. So every product that this customer has purchased, in the last, in this case, the system set up for 8 years. This is the last 8 years of products that this customer has purchased from me. All right. Right now, we also can filter this by ship to location. So, you may be dealing with maybe a school district or the high school and the elementary school. And those different schools buy very different types of products. So, being able to drill down into the specific sales history for a customer ship to location may be even more helpful. But right now, we're going to be looking at all ship tos. I am organizing this by, in this case, product category. So these are the different copy paper. These are the equipment that they've purchased, exam gloves, food service items, janitorial items, and so on. So it is organizing it by category. I can organize this by vendor and a couple other different ways as well. Some other things that are pretty helpful in here that are really nice to be able to see are these red items. These red items are deemed due to buy items. So if for whatever reason your customer is buying these products on a consistent basis, and then all of the sudden stops or breaks these buying patterns for these items, these are going to show up in red. All right. And if I were to double click on one of them, the system's going to explain, well, on average, this customer is buying this product every 75 days. It's been 1,234 days since they last bought this item. So having the system highlight this and say, oh, well, if I'm on the phone with them, are you getting low on these gloves? Are you getting them from somewhere else cheaper? Being able to have these conversations and potentially win some of this business back is really valuable for the business to be able to, one, see them, and then identify them and try to drive business with these items that have been you know stopped having been purchased. But I could see, what is the current price? What is the historical price? The quantity that they have bought for me, the historical date of when they last purchased, things like that. So what's really nice about this is I'm just going to come in here and I could just use this quantity column and I could add products to this. So, how many, I know you bought the cups, what size cups? Oh, they were the 20-ounce cups. Give me 5 cases of those. And I'm looking for the disinfecting wipes. Yeah, we are getting a little low. You can add that to our order. Give me 10 cartons of these. I'm looking for, and I could just put quantities in here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for a few of these here and build my order. 3, and we'll add some copy paper as well. All right, so once I add some quantities to this, down at the bottom, I can add this to my order. So what that will do is that'll take me back into my sales order entry, and it will load up all of those products I had put quantities next to in the customer order pad. All right, so that's just one way, one feature of the software, where especially, like I said, in this industry, very useful. There is a lot of constant reordering of the same products, so this customer order pad could be a huge benefit to your business. The other thing that we're going to talk about is the way DDI Inform prices products. So typically in this industry, products are priced based on the customer and product. Every time the customer buys a product, the system can and will remember the last price that customer has paid for every customer and product combination in the system. As you can see, a couple things here, like this particular product, I could see that the price that we are charging is $218 for this, and this is the last price that they paid. I can hover over the net price, and the system will actually look at their historical purchases and show me their historical purchases of these products as I hover over these. So I know when they bought it, the invoice number, the quantity that they purchased, and the price that they paid. So being able to see that very quickly is sometimes some things that businesses struggle with. And then over here, this is an optional field that I'm choosing to show. I think it explains things really nicely for you guys to visually see what I'm talking about. But here it says, how is the price being calculated? These two products here say last price. My cost from my vendors has not changed since the last time I purchased it. So the system is going to continually charge my customer that price until my cost goes up. Once my cost goes up, my price can automatically increase to maintain margin of last sale so that, you guys over time don't start bleeding margin. If you're dealing with products where price your cost may go up, and if your system's not doing that, you could slowly price yourself and start to lose money on certain transactions, because margins in this industry are typically very, very small. So being able to capture as much of that and maintain as much of that gross profit as possible is a pretty handy feature for the system to do for you. And as you can see here in this example, I this customer has been buying this item pretty consistently, and they've been paying $50.28. But you'll notice this says margin. So this is telling me that this is a new price. This is a higher price to the customer because my cost has increased to maintain the same level of margin that I was making when it was $50.28. So I can see that here, which is pretty helpful. And of course, if we need to cap margins at certain or cap the pricing, we can do that. But having the system do that and being able to build your sales orders from history are two really, really valuable features our software can offer for you guys. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and the system's going to generate me my sales order. It did throw it on credit hold because the customer is not paying their bills, and we can worry about that at a little bit of a different time. But I wanted to at least show you those two features of the software that I think may be useful for you guys if you are interested in Inform ERP. The other topic that I wanted to kind of show you and talk about are vendor rebates. So within the system automatically calculates or can calculate your vendor rebates. So what that looks like in the system, we do have a screen called price contracts. So price contracts is the ability for you to set up pricing, um, as well as rebate costing. So in this example here, I have a contract that is set up, and I have effective and expiration dates as far as when the contract is good for, when is it set to expire, who the vendor is, if they have their specific vendor contract number. Is this good for every customer in my system that buys from me? Or is it only good for a certain group of customers? So, of course, I could come in here and link specific customers so that this is only specific to, um, the customers that I list here. But in this example, I'm going to say it's good for all customers. And then the second half of this is going to be what products are on this contract. All right. So, this first one here, this is if I wanted to set up pricing for a customer, which this product actually does have pricing set up to it. But we're concerned with, or what we're going to be talking about today, is the rebate side of it. So in here, I have for this particular product, my rebatable cost in the system is $20. So what the system will do is every time I sell this product, in this case for anybody or to anybody, the system is going to say, all right, well, what is my into stock cost? Subtract $20 as my rebate cost, and the difference between the two will be what I'm expecting back as a rebate to or from my vendor. Right. So as you can see here, all four of these or five of these products have a rebate cost in there, and it will do that for each one of these products when they're sold and when they're invoiced. Um, and when they're invoiced. These two, this is an optional feature. Some people choose that to show costing or show the rebate cost within sales order entry. And that is what I am doing for these particular items. So I know when I'm building my order, if I want the actual gross profit factoring in the rebate cost, I can see that. Or some people choose to hide that if they're dealing with salesman commissions and things like that. And in this particular case, we will not show this as the cost of the product. We will show, whatever the loaded cost or the into stock cost is for these items, since we're not doing a 0% load in these particular examples. So this is just the setup of the contract and what products are rebatable. And then it's really a set it and forget it. Once you set up the contract, and then as you start selling and invoicing these products, the system is going to track all of this for you automatically. So that really the only thing you're left to do is at the end of the month, you are going to come in here and you're going to be able to run a vendor rebate report to produce the information that you're looking for. So within this program here or screen here is the vendor rebate report. So once I come in here, I could run this for a specific vendor. I could run this for a specific contract. And typically you're going to be running it for, the prior month. So here we are in April. We are going to run this for March to see all of the different vendors that were due back in rebates. So I'm going to leave this blank. I'm going to run it for all of my vendors. I'm going to run it for all of my contracts. And we're going to go ahead and view this to the screen here. So what you're going to see on the screen here is the system's organizing everything by vendor. So you can see my Ascendant vendor here. For this particular vendor, Black Hawk Casino has purchased by ship to. These are the products that they purchased. So they purchased this one product 3 different unique times. They bought a case at $25, where my cost was into stock cost was $25. My contracted cost was $18. The difference between the two is $7. So we are expecting back $7 for each of these transactions, which is totaling 3 cases for $21 back. This is the contract number that this is on, that it's associated with. This is these are the invoice numbers that these for this transaction that these products are on, and these are the unique invoice dates for these products. And as you can see, it's going to continue to repeat and say, all right, for this customer, for this product, what is it, and so on. So it's gonna do that for all customers, all ship tos, to produce you a total as I go through. So the total for Ascendant was a quantity of 10. And the rebate amount we're expecting back from Ascendant is $60.75. It's gonna then, this is a different contract here, a different vendor, and the same information, figuring out the differences between the into stock cost and whatnot for each of these. So again, the system is going to be able to produce this report to you that you could take and give to your vendor so that you can capture some of this money that I know a lot of businesses are really just leaving on the table because it's too time consuming to run sales reports at the end of the month, manually figure out the cost versus the rebate amount, and that manual process is taking time, which I think that maybe is not worth it for a lot of businesses. So this is something that could really help, um, realize and get some of that money that you may be leaving on the table. One question that I'm sure some of you are probably thinking, we can also generate this to an Excel file. So instead of producing a PDF report, here is that same report and same information in an Excel file. So I'm sure many vendors require Excel because they probably need to do certain things with it. We can generate a CSV and or Excel file with all of them, most likely all of the relevant information they're looking for, as far as the end customer who purchased it, their ship to information, rebate, UPC code, serial numbers if the items are serialized, and so on. So this is just a sample file. There are also standards for some vendors. So, for example, Kimberly Clark, Gojo, Georgia Pacific, when you're dealing with them and getting some rebates, they do typically require their rebate reports in specific formats. And we also do offer those templated reports uh, within the ERP as well. So if you're dealing with any of those, and you don't want to manually configure the columns every month and things like that, we can certainly configure the software to generate them in those required formats as well. That's going to kind of conclude the demo here. I'm going to jump back into the PowerPoint. Okay, so we're going to pause here for questions. So if you have any questions about what you saw here, please let us know, and we'll do our best to answer all the questions that you guys have.
And thank you, Robbie, so much for that insightful presentation on streamlining pricing, ordering, and rebates with DDI system. Hello, all. I'm Philip Montalvo, also with the Advantive conglomerate. And what we're going to do is answer any questions that may have come up during the presentation. I do see a few that came up. So again, this is the opportunity to ask any questions that you thought of while Robbie was going over that presentation. So Robbie, the first one is, can the vendor rebate report be exported in Excel?
Yeah, good question. So at the end, I kind of was going through that, and a lot of times vendors do have some automation on their end in processing these rebates. So the system can generate those in Excel and/or CSV formats, so that those can be sent to the vendor, so that whatever automation, whatever systems they use to import that information can certainly be done.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. And second question is, can the default number of years in the customer order pad be modified?
Yes. So a lot of times you might be dealing with a customer that has, a lot of different sales history or a lot of sales history, and it may take incredibly long to load 8 years or 4 years or whatnot. So we can certainly adjust the number of years by default. And then, of course, you can, within each specific instance of the order pad, modify and say, I want 6 months, I want a year, whatever the case might be, and see the relevant information at that point.
Wonderful. Thank you. And so that appears to be all the questions at this time. We could let a few more seconds pass to see if any trickling questions will appear, but that is it for the meantime. All right. If there's no further questions, I think we can wrap up today. Robbie, I'll hand it over to you for any outro or where people need to go to find more information.
Sure. Thanks, Phil. So hopefully you guys saw some value in what we were showing today. If you did and you are interested in having a further conversation, feel free to contact us. Our email address is sales@advantive.com, or you can give us a call at 656-444-9855. And we're more than happy to set you up with your own personalized demo to go over any specific questions and what things we can do to help your specific business. Thank you very much. Have a good day.